let's start off. Let's go down the line. Let's talk about what you do for Assassin's Creed. We're all voice actors here, aren't we? We all do the awesome things. We have fun doing it. Let's start at the end. Introduce yourself and your character. Tell us a little bit about it.
Yes, I play Haytham Kenway. It's really amazing what they do with... No, hi, I'm Adrian Hough, and I'm Haytham Kenway in Assassin's Creed 3. Noah Watts, Connor... Kenway. Connor Kenway.
I am Kaniehtiio Horn, and I play Kaniehtiio in AC3.
What a coincidence that you had that same name. I'm Elias Toufexis. I played a bunch of little characters, and I played Federico in Assassin's Creed 2 and Brotherhood. I'm sorry? Hot brother, yes. I concur with that.
The man of many voices.
Hi, I'm Goldfarb, and I played 2 characters in the Assassin's Creed 2 as well. I played actually quite a few, but 2 main ones. Christina Vespucci in Assassin's Creed 2 and Brotherhood, and Aveline in Assassin's Creed 3 Liberation. Yeah! And in Black Flag as well. I have been the DLC bonus missions.
I'm Cas Anvar, Altair ibn Ma'ahad from Assassin's Creed Revelations. I'm Adrian Smith. I play Ruggiero Ferraro in Assassin's Creed Black Flag.
Well, I have a few questions for you guys. Amber, your character's made a lot of headway in the video game industry. I mean, being someone unlike Metroid or Portal, we have a character that we've seen, we know it's a female lead, we know it's somebody who's important, and it's something that's been growing in this video game industry that we've been waiting for. So, what is it like, and how does it feel to be a part of that small yet growing group of characters?
Honestly, it feels really amazing. When I was working on, AC2 and Brotherhood and doing some stuff on Revelations and everything like that, I kept thinking to myself, when are they gonna have a female lead in the series? There's so many fans of the series, and it's not just men. I mean, look out in the audience. Obviously, there's a lot of female fans and female gamers, and I was just like, it's about time, So when I auditioned for the role, I was like, wow, they finally caught on. But I didn't think in a million years I was going to get the role. So it was such an honor to wish for that and to dream for it, and then to actually get to play the part. It was surreal. But I mean, I want to see more. I want to see more female leads in games. I really do. Yeah.
I think we all do.
Yeah, and it's cool because you're seeing an outcry for that, and you're seeing a lot of people being like, "Hey, why aren't there more female roles? Why are there more female leads? Why aren't there more female characters that aren't overly sexualized as well? Why does every female character have to be a bombshell and have a perfect body and huge breasts? And it's we want to see interesting characters. It doesn't matter the gender. It doesn't matter the sex. When you play a game, if the character is a great character, then that's what matters, right? It's who they are and the story that's going to pull you in. It doesn't matter the sex or gender,
Yeah, exactly. Thank you. That's perfect. Elias, we've seen you as Federico. We've seen you in Deus Ex, Human Revolution. We've seen you in many, many, many things. What is there, can you tell us something about Federico that was a little different than any other character you might have played?
A low-level Italian accent. Federico was a lot of fun because he was such a tragic character, and I think that he was important in Ezio's development. I don't know who plays Ezio. I think in Ezio's development as for lack of a better term, as a man, as a character, he grows through. Obviously, he grows through his family's death, but also he very much loved his brother and looked up to him. So I think in that game was a very important moment for Ezio's character.
Yeah, great. I have a question for everybody. It seems like pretty much everybody's here has done something that it's not exactly video game centric or related. But I want to go down the line and we know that the technology that we have now is basically like shooting in front of a camera and shooting for TV. But is there any differences that you might see from being on TV and seeing your whole body and your person to doing a voice and doing the motion capture and the face capture? Is there anything that stands out to you? Anybody can go first.
I have an idea. Thing that I noticed, we had days on AC3 when we were shooting. There's one day we had 38 scenes we shot, and that never happens in film. In film, you get like maybe 4 scenes a day, and there's this period of time where the actors get sent away and they have stand in front of the camera while they set the cameras and the lights up, and they redo your makeup and you read your lines for the next scene. When you're doing motion capture and you're doing a lot of scenes back to back, you're sometimes picking up a scene and learning it and doing it in that moment. We did that a few times. You know, with those big Haytham monologues, that was rather intense. At the end of the day, your head is literally spinning, and then we'd do all those, and then we'd do the fight at the end. And it's kind of, for my money, it's kind of like a combination of film and theater, in that you have this, the intensity of theater, but you can get really subtle doing it now. So the technology is so good that you can play a scene in an intimate close-up, and that they can bring the camera out anywhere.
Right. Yeah.
The thing I noticed was different for me was the suit, the mocap suit, and the helmet cam. I wasn't used to that, and it felt like I was in a wetsuit. And I look at Adrian, and he's in one, and I'm trying to take, we got this thing like this, and so I'm just trying to take him seriously.
And they look so
He's getting
sexy.
really,
Those suits look so sexy.
he's getting like upset, and like he's in a wetsuit, so I can't really kind of take him serious. So I had to really pretend and imagine, and that was something that was a lot different.
I had trouble taking you seriously as well.
You're a little more exposed.
Yeah, it was.
I mean, it depends. I think with every technique of acting, whether it's in a voice studio or in a mocap suit or on film or on stage, I mean, I think we all approach it from the same point of view of the character and how to, what the character wants and all that acting stuff. But the techniques are different. There's different techniques when you're in sound booth, different techniques when you're in a mocap suit, and different things you have to think about, like banging the cameras on each other, or getting the balls stuck on each other, which happens.
What are we talking about again?
Okay, I'm sorry. My mind wandered onto another project.
Right. We got next one.
Yeah, but I think what I'm trying to say is that basically from an actor's point of view, you approach it the same from a character point of view, no matter what.
Right.
Yeah, so that was my first time doing mocap when I was in Assassin's Creed, and I felt like most of my experience on it, I mean, I had an awesome time, but I was also learning the medium, you know what I mean? Like the standing with your hands out.
Pose.
To do the T pose right before and after every single take, you have to do a pose like this, and then you have to go like ah, and then eyebrows up, eyebrows down, left, right, up, down, or something like that. Yeah, it's so weird. And then you're like doing this big intense scene, and it's like, okay, cut, and then you're like, the T pose up, down, and you have the camera in front of your face, and it's so awkward. It's really awkward.
That's something you can't learn by watching millions of hours of TV. So it's
Yeah, exactly. So I was like learning it on like as I went, and I almost like I would love to do it again because now I know what to expect. It was like, yeah.
And you actually have to say T-pose in a French-Canadian accent. T-pose, T-pose, T-pose.
It's so funny because it becomes second nature. Like after the first time I had to do it, it felt so technical and it was hard. But once I was used to it, it became second nature to the point that I'll be on set now, like on a film or TV set, and they call cut, and I have the impulse to go into a T-pose. And I was working with a friend the other day, and he does vocab a lot too, and he actually started to go into one. I was like, oh my God, that is amazing. So it actually, like, you get used to it. But for me, I think the biggest difference that strikes me from doing between like doing film and TV and then doing video games is that you don't have the same ownership of your character, because it can be multiple actors that are bringing that character to life. You know, like sometimes you do the voice and then another actor is doing the mocap because they hire, you know, like for AC2, there's like, okay, you guys did the voices in LA, and then they had actors in Montreal doing the body. So you're sharing the performance, and sometimes, you know, then they'll have stunt people doing all the stunt work, and then an animator comes and adds another layer. So it's like, sorry, am I talking too loud into this thing? A little bit, right? Sorry, talk so loud.
Don't worry, I always speak louder.
Yeah, loud is better than too low, right? But yeah, so it's like you don't, in a way it takes the pressure off, because when you're shooting like film TV, it's like, it's you, it's your face. If you do a shitty job and your performance is bad, it's on you. But if you do a video game, it's so many people that like create
That
your
you can
character.
blame.
Yeah.
It's that team's fault.
Yeah, exactly. So like, you know, so I think that it's a really cool aspect of it, and yeah, that's my story.
I just blame Sean. Yeah, it's an inside joke.
Oh yeah.
I agree with pretty much everything everyone said here. I don't know about everyone else, but I used to do the video game capture back in the day before you actually got to act with other actors together. Oh my God. Holy moly. So, like, way back. And that to me is the biggest thing. Like, I love what was said earlier about the fact that you can get really intimate because you got a microphone right in front of your face. But at the same time, you know, I don't know about you, but when I was doing ACR, I had like 30 pages of dialogue, and I had 15 pages of grunts. I had to do all these stabs, and okay, now it's a really hard thing, now you're coming up for air, and like, now it's a hard throw to the ground, now it's a soft throw to the ground. So that's something you don't have to do in film. You also, for me, I didn't get to do anything in ACR with another actor. If I was lucky, I got to see a clip or hear a voice of the guy who played the guy in the scene with me. Maybe. Those of you who haven't played ACR Revelations, a little spoiler alert, but there's a scene where Altair has to deal with the loss of his wife. And they had a camera on my face, and I had to go through the entire movement, miming the entire scene, going through a very emotional scene with nobody else to work off of. That's really challenging in some ways, whereas film and TV, you get to work with a set, you get to work with props, you get to work with other actors, and every time you do it, it changes because the guy you're working with gives you something different. Whereas in this case, you're getting only what's in your head. So that to me is the biggest challenge, but bonus is you get to do some really, really creative stuff. And I get to play a redneck Irish lieutenant in Halo 4, which I could never do in real life because I don't look like that. So yeah, that's kind of the pros and cons for me.
And then T-pose.
The months of preparation that it took for me to conjure up the role of Ruggiero Ferraro in Assassin's Creed. Film and TV, I don't think you guys spend that much time, but I think it came through in the performance. You see the method that I incorporated into that. No, honestly, the biggest difference in technology for me is that now I'm too short for voiceover roles because I don't do full body mocap because I'm 5'5" and I've literally been told, like, thank God they didn't use you for these certain characters because otherwise you'd have like a 5'5". Well, actually, it would probably mocap more like a portly 14-year-old chubby kid as Ezio. So it's a really good thing I just stick with the voice and let the other pros do the hard stuff.
Yeah, but in the end, Roger, you're still fucking Batman.
Ruggiero.
You are still
Ruggiero!
But you know, could I just add something to what Cas is saying about, you know, the technology? Because I've seen like the evolution, like just from most of the work I've done has been at Ubisoft, and seeing the evolution from the games. They've really come to understand that if you don't have the actors in the same room and they're not acting together, the quality of the performances will suffer. And
With voice too.
yeah, and the voice too, because like if you're in this recording studio, your choices are limited in the sense that like if you're acting a scene full out and you have your environment and you have the other actor, you're gonna play moments differently. You're gonna whisper some lines and some lines will be more intense and you're reacting to what's happening. Whereas when you're in the recording studio, like you're reading the script, you're seeing what the other person is saying. Maybe the director is gonna read the lines for you, and then the other actor is gonna come and do their version, and maybe your versions won't really match. And you know, so it's like if you want a really strong performance. Everybody okay? Yeah, if you want a really, if you want a really strong, believable performance, then having the actors there is the best thing. And that's what they're doing now. They're like flying people for Black Flag. They flew in all of the main cast from the UK. You know, they were like, it was worth that amount of money to have the actual actors in the room together.
Completely different vibe.
Yeah, it's changed so much. Every year they change. Every year it gets better. Every year the technology gets better. It's amazing how fast it's evolved.
I'd just like to point out that because it's so dark, all I see is kind of like raccoon heads. And it looks like animals are watching us. From,
Every now and then I get a glare of like a
Very
sword
strange. Ah, that's freaking me out.
and I just flinch a little bit. I think we're going to open it to questions from the audience. If you want to start right here, we'll get the questions on the right side here. What's your name and what is your question?
Hello, my name is Word Sound, and actually I worked with Ubisoft before, back in 2012 at the EP conference. I was there and I performed as a guest artist for them on the VIP. And also tells me they were going to Montreal and go to the studio, so they're talking about how they were devised on everything. So, but also fun to meet the whole cast in the game. It's awesome to meet you guys finally. My question for you is that you kind of brushed over it kind of casually, but it's the reason why I actually do like Ubisoft, and that is they're not afraid to deal with race issues. And so my question for the main characters, how is it to play a Native American who had to deal with losing his whole tribe, and how is it for you to play a Black woman dealing with slavery? Like, how is that emotionally for you guys dealing with those issues? Because Ubisoft is known for like pushing the boundaries.
I think that having a Mohawk main character is a really big win for all natives, not just Mohawks. I mean, it is pretty cool.
Well, we are.
It's really refreshing to see natives up there in the main light. So I think it was an important step for us, and I just wanted to do what I could to make that, to own up to that. And, you know, it was a great honor, and I think that we need more of that. And I'm glad that Ubisoft does that. They always pay attention to a lot of detail and stuff. And when they decided to do a native character, they didn't just decide to make him a generic native. They gave him a tribe. They had him speak language. They went into all of the culture and the ceremonies that go around that tribe, and that's really respectable of Ubisoft. And I think that's one thing that they do very well.
Yeah, it's always like I was saying, anyways, this morning. Sometimes when you hear about like a movie or something being made about like with native characters or a native story, you're kind of like, oh, you know, like what are they gonna do? How are they gonna like massacre it? And with Assassin's Creed, I was just so blown away at the attention to detail, the costumes, the sets, like the longhouse, you know, it was amazing, and the language. They had my cousin actually translated everything, and he was in the studio, in the voice studio, helping all of us with the pronunciation and everything. And just the fact that they did that, you know, they weren't just like, oh, here's the like they didn't turn it into English, you know. If the characters were speaking to each other, then they spoke Mohawk, and so yeah, it was like an honor to be a part of it. And I mean, it's weird because like, I have blue eyes, I have light hair, light skin, and I'm never gonna get cast to play a Mohawk woman from like the 1700s or whatever. But because it was a video game, I did the mocap and everything, but they darkened my skin and darkened my eyes and everything. So it was kind of, I don't know, kind of like a weird thing. Yeah, but like at the same time, it's like a mohawk, you know what I mean? So, anyways.
I'm glad they got natives to play it too. They didn't, they got a Mohawk in there, and they could have just had other natives in there and done it. But it was really important that she was involved because it also brought in like her family, like she said, to help out and make it a really authentic piece.
Like my best cousin from when I was a kid played the clan mother, and she teaches the language. It was really cool, and they would come to, like, people from Ubisoft came to my reserve to go to the cultural center, and they had, they really, really did their work. They did their homework, so that was really, really nice of them.
So also too, like, what about, for the lady playing the African American lady as dealing with the whole slavery? Because Black Flag, by the way, I have being finished it. I love the storyline. So you people who hated it, you're missing out. But with Black Flag, it really focuses around the whole like slave trade era. How was that for you dealing with the whole slavery and having like, especially like now not only a female role but a Black female role? Like, how was that for you?
Yeah, well, like I said before, I didn't expect to be cast in the role because clearly I'm white, and at the audition there were Black girls auditioning, and I figured, okay, for sure they're gonna go, with a Black girl because this character, there's fewer roles for Black women and everything like that. But in the end, they got a lot of criticism for that, of course. But in the end, I think that the thing was that they just liked the vocal quality that I brought to the character, and they were like, that's the thing with video games, like Kaniehtiio was saying, like they can change your skin color, they can change your hair color, your everything, and that's what's pretty cool about games, is that you can transcend ethnicity and gender. Like, I've played men, and I know a lot of men who have played women, because there's a few of us that day, and they're like, oh, could you play a guy in that scene? Could you play a girl in that scene? It's really cool. Like, I would never, ever get to play a Black woman on film and TV, obviously. That would be extremely offensive, but so it was an amazing experience, and because of that, I felt like, okay, I need to handle this very respectfully and very carefully. And I was really glad that they did, and I was really glad that the game did well, and then they made the HD version because it started just for PS Vita, right? And then they were like, oh, we're gonna bring her character back for Black Flag. And then they, with Adewale and Black Flag, they made Freedom Cry, and people love it. And it's just like, I think for me, the most important thing is that these stories are being told, because if history is not told, and if these stories do not get passed down, even in popular culture, they're forgotten. We don't give the same respect. Like, making AC3, like, in my high school in Canada, the textbooks barely talked about the natives. Like, I was appalled, I was disgusted. There was like one sentence that spoke about the smallpox blankets and stuff like that. And it's like, if you do not tell these stories and they're not passed on from generation to generation, they're forgotten. It's like it never happened. It's like they say history is written by victors, And so it's like the fact that these stories are told about minorities in our society that have very important stories to be passed on. It's like I'm really glad they did. Like, it really touched me.
No, it's quite obvious too, because like I said, like playing the games, I was reading reviews, everyone was like, oh, AC3 sucked, Black Flag was terrible. But I was like, no, this actually, like, coming from, as a nerd, person of color, to see those stories portrayed, not only done right, but done the way to where you, like, understand the history of, of the Native Americans, history of, Black people, but it's done right. And you're not, well, like you said, it's not like you just washed over, oh, he's now Black guy, now white, Connor's now just, white guy. You made him a real character. And for that, I think you got so much for taking the time to actually study, to learn, to say, let's actually pay attention to the details, so that way, more Black people, more Native American people who are gamers can now feel like, man, we do matter in the community. Because I know, this is nothing against anyone who is, who's white, whatever. It's just that we like seeing characters also like us too as well, because we do want to spend money and interact and engage too. So Good job.
Thank you.
Great. I think it's a great question. I've never heard that question actually in all the years we've been talking about AC3, and I didn't even realize how good Ubisoft has handled it. I totally agree. What I really want to know is how you feel playing a white assassin in all these games.
I'm just happy to be here. Altair, Aveline. That was Darby's little Easter egg in AC4 and we purposely butchered every single assassin's name for that. We thought it was funny, like Ezio out of Torre did Firenze, all that stuff. Yeah. Now I feel super guilty playing an Italian assassin because I'm actually Dutch.
To speak on the skills that Ubisoft looks for and the amount of work they put into it, this cast is full of trilingual and bilingual cast members that you bring in that soul and that feeling that I think we can all agree they did a wonderful job. And yeah, they've done their homework. I congratulate Ubisoft for everything they've done. Great. Thanks. What's your name and what is your question?
My name is Jeff, and first of all, I want to thank all of you for coming to SacAnime. We really appreciate you being here. Congratulations on being part of such a successful franchise. I want to go slightly off topic. I have a question for Cas. I'm a huge Argo fan, and I wanted to ask you, just if you could briefly maybe tell us about your experience on that film, and especially, what's it like to be part of an Oscar-winning Best Picture?
Awesome. It was actually pretty amazing. I mean, when you're doing a film like that, you don't really know what you're getting into while you're shooting. You're just shooting another grungy little film. I will say that Ben Affleck had an incredibly strong vision, so that was clear. It was kind of interesting because he's a very young director and he was making a lot of young choices, but he clearly knew what he was doing, and obviously the movie kicked ass. So he really did know how to pull it together also in the final result. The aftermath was spectacular. Being part of the whole Oscar scenario was awesome. I mean, a Montreal boy from Canada partaking in all of that red carpet stuff was really exciting for me, and I loved it. And a lot of stuff came out of that movie. So, and honestly, I just loved the movie, even if I wasn't in it. I thought it was a terrific movie.
Thank you very much.
Pleasure.
It's me, Mario, nephew Ezio again. Hello, my name is Joseph Wise, and I want to thank all the great assassins present and assistants to the assassins for being part of SacAnime this year. It's really great to have all of you here. Now,
And one Templar.
there we go. See, I'm still trying to pick up the lingo of the game because, unfortunately, I'm a latecomer to the game. Because when the first Assassin's Creed came out, I was only 16 years old, and my parents were very much by the book. It's rated M, you can't play it. But I was allowed to play Half-Life, so I don't know how that works out. But in any event, I am weaving, slashing, diving, cutting my way through the series as fast and as quickly as I can. And for, it's kind of difficult when you're a college student, you need to be studying, not playing. So with how much I've been able to grab from the games by quickly playing them and then watching playthroughs of some of the other games, what really fascinates me about this series is that this is a video game series that primarily focuses on history, even though they take great amounts of liberties in portraying said history. But still, it fascinates me so, and I actually wanted to ask all of you individually, if it was left to your power, where would you have an Assassin's Creed game take place, and what time period?
Space.
Yeah!
You okay? All right. Who wants to start?
I thought Egypt might be cool.
How about Greece?
Greece?
Ancient Greece.
What time period? Ancient? Okay, cool.
Greece like last year.
Can we go shoot it right now?
I would love to see something done in the samurai times.
We go the Jurassic period. So the Templars are T-Rexes, and like the Assassins are all Velociraptors, right? And then the dude, the old guy from Jurassic Park, he's there and he's like trying to control everybody. And hang on. And then Michael J. Fox from Back to the Future shows up in a DeLorean, but it's not a DeLorean. It's a Stegosaurus.
This Chris Pratt show. I'm gonna go back. Yeah.
I think they should have like the 60s, man. They should be like, you can
Great question, thank you. Do we have another question?
I want to like talk about like Henry Kenway about the what?
Haytham Kenway.
Yeah.
Henry Kenway, by the way, is Haytham's slightly autistic cousin.
So yeah. So is that so? What do you think about like him being in two series, like the Black Flag and 3?
Somebody tweeted me the final scene of. I can't answer. What? Well, there's something like that. Two others. Well, then I'm so. What do I think about it? I think, yay, I've got more work. Yeah, no, it's fun. There's a lot of people who say they want him to have his own game, but I think that's up to Ubisoft. I can't say anymore. Not to give away my other kidney.
It's probably great. It spans across 2 different timelines, and I think, yeah, it's pretty good.
Hey, the Bronx.
Hi, what's your name?
My name's Eric, and is it alright I can ask a non-serious question?
Of course.
No, it has to be dead serious.
How would a love triangle between Connor, Ezio, and Altair go?
Love triangle? Love, okay. Go ahead, take that one.
Let me get the question correct. Is this a battle between all 3 of them?
Are you talking about with or without hidden blades?
What?
Just check. I just want to be clear.
What?
With or without hidden blades?
Can't hear it. What are you saying? Stay away from someone, that's all.
Will you restate the question one more time?
It mainly focuses on Connor, yes, but Ezio and Altair are going for Connor, and Connor's having a hard time choosing the 2.
I read some of them. I like both their outfits. It's just hard to choose. I don't know.
I'm gonna go ahead and say it's gonna be an even draw.
I think that's on www.assassinscreek.com. You can check out how that turns out.
I'm sure there are plenty of people in this audience that are willing to write that.
I don't want to play.
Hi, my name is Alexei, and my question is for all of you. I wanted to know what was your favorite thing about your character as you were playing? Like, did you have a favorite scene that you did, or was there something about your personality that you really liked in your character?
Okay, what is your favorite part about your character?
Yeah.
I think there's 2 scenes that I really loved. One was the scene with Washington in the tent, where Connor then just walks away from Haytham at the end, when Haytham thinks he's being really very clever and showing his son, look, this is the man you follow. And there's that moment where I think Haytham cracks his coolness a little bit. I like that in that scene. And the other scene is the rooftop scene where he's talking about I stood before the Continental Congress and listened to them stamp and shout all in the name of liberty, just because that showed his kind of his hubris, his arrogance. And it's such a well-written character that there was all these permutations to him. And then when Ezio knocks him off the center, I like those scenes a lot. Plus, I got to work with the fabulous Tio. But yes, that's my.
I think my favorite thing about Connor is just he's a pure soul. He's very, very, I mean, straight from heaven, it seems. He's a very nice guy. He wouldn't do anything wrong. He wouldn't hurt anybody that didn't deserve it, in a way. Unless he was told to falsely by his lying father. Whatever. The best scene that I liked was between Haytham and I. We made it up, or we took some liberty in the lines and changed the story, the scene. The scene, yeah, it was a different thing. He asked me about my mom, and I told him that she's dead, and basically I watched her burned alive, and you're sorry about this. I thought that was a really interesting scene between us, and it really did connect us. And that was the first time on set that I felt more comfortable playing with Haytham, because before he was just a complete creep.
I really like my character's name. No, I actually like the scene where she first meets Haytham and they put in their what? Yeah, in the snow, and she's like says her name, or I say my name, and then you try and say my name, and then I'm like, no, just call me Dio. And that is like directly out of my life and my day-to-day life. That's what I'm always doing, explaining my name. So that was a little personal for me, but yeah, yeah.
I was already asked about Federico, so like I said before, but I will say that I play a really badass character in Unity that I can't tell you anything about. Can't do it, but he's cool. You get to see him on November 11th, right? November 11th. Yeah. I asked them yourself what I could talk about. They said I could say that I'm in it. That's it.
Guys, I'm also in it.
Nice.
It's not a reprisal of another role, so it's something new. That's all I can say. Okay, this is not deep at all, but my favorite thing about my character once I played the game was that I can pet dogs. Yes! How cool is that?
Who doesn't?
What?
Who doesn't?
Like, I thought that was I was not expecting that. Like, you just stop, and it feels good, even if you're not doing it for real. And you get the same feeling as when you're petting a dog. I thought that was the coolest thing.
They kind of smile, the dog. That's a great question. I'm thinking, like, let's be honest. If you think about all of these characters, they're amazingly rich. Really, Ubisoft did an amazing job with this franchise. It's my favorite. I'm a gamer, so it's my favorite franchise to play. In terms of Altair, I kind of like to think of Ezio and Altair. If Ezio's the badass, he's kind of like the Wolverine. He's kind of like the James Bond womanizer. Altair's kind of like the legend. He's like the Xavier, Professor Xavier. What I really love about him is that he was an absolute arrogant prick at the beginning. I love that. I can relate to that. And then he matured, and he learned to do good. But I really like it. I mean, just there's so many great scenes for Altair's journey. So, but that's the main thing I like about it. It's just he's focused and he had a vision, and he kind of blazed the path for the rest of the guys.
I like the pickpocketing.
Pickpocketing, one of my favorite things to do is pickpocketing. I can relate to that. Just saying. No, I think the fun answer is the minstrel scene for Ezio. Not minstrel mission, I guess, not scene, but it was like a scene for what we were recording.
And then the moment that I had them, like, it's rare that you get, Ubisoft does a great job with this, that you get to sink your teeth into stuff, but there was the scene where Ezio was declaring to everybody that, and it was a poignant, part in his storyline after he watched his family get murdered, that he basically says, the Auditore are not dead, I'm still here. And he declares it out to everybody. I thought that was fun to get to do that, because it's such a cool moment as a character to portray, but still, pickpocket. Thank
Roger,
you.
we hugged earlier and now I can't find my wallet. Just putting that out there.
Thank you. Hello.
Hi.
Hello.
I'm Cody, and my question is, you guys all know about shipping, right?
No, do tell.
Well, you want to put your favorite characters in a relationship with another person, and I'm just wondering, what's the weirdest ship you guys have ever heard of your characters being shipped with?
So late at night when you're trolling the forums, what have you come across? Anything? Anybody?
Come on.
You guys all research your characters, right?
Well, Neil's not here right now, but there's a certain amount. Where is Charles Lee?
He's coming tomorrow.
Oh, the shipping Haytham and Charles Lee. There are some worse ones, but I'm not.
Oh, I know.
I know. Is that you? No.
No, it was a phase. I grew out of it though.
And only because Neil has a hairy back. And just
I'm assuming nobody knows any of theirs.
I get a lot of Adam Jensen ones.
Huh?
I won't go into them. When you have
She's just
futuristic
very,
orientation.
very sexy fan art of Altair and Ezio. That's all I'm gonna say.
Could you reenact
I actually only with Aveline. There's a lot of stuff with Connor. That's all I saw. Which surprise, it's not really weird. But for Ezio and Christina, there's like all these videos on YouTube dedicated to their love story. Like once I was looking for a scene to send someone, like they wanted to see some of my video game work. I was checking on YouTube, and like all of these videos where people had filmed the scenes and made a compilation, so there was like a coherent story of following their love story and everything like that. You took my dress off in the scene. By the way. Yeah.
Don't ever wear my dress again.
You were pickpocketing. Good. Thank you.
Actually, wait. I'd like to see Pikachu and Elias Toufexis. Am I alone? I
think we'd all like to see that.
Alright, hi, my name is Crystal, and I'm really glad to hear about the accuracies that happened, especially with the Native American tribes. I've done a lot of history study in that, and I'm so happy that it was accurate. I have a question from someone in this audience who does not want to be named, who's associated with social anxiety, so he doesn't want to come up here and ask. But what is your favorite line from your game?
If you can remember it.
I think we found her. Very stealthy. It was very stealthy.
Do I have to be first? Okay. I think it would be the only difference, Connor, between those you aid and myself is that I do not feign affection.
I think like my most popular one for everybody is, where is Charles Lee?
I think mine was, what are you, touched in the head?
I very much like the way Assassin's Creed 2 begins when Ezio and Federico are on the roof and he says, "It is a good life we lead, brother." And then Ezio says, Yeah, that's right. And may it never change us. And then the game begins. And then he hangs himself.
Mine is actually from the story trailer and not from the game. And someone helped me remember it today. We actually went on YouTube to find it. It's do injustice in this world, and I'll send you to the next.
Requiesce pace bast wait. No, my favorite. I don't want to sound like I don't want to say it because it's my favorite line, because then it's gonna make me look like a little bit of a wuss. But it's no man should go through life without knowing some kindness, which is the one I say. But to balance that goes, you'll never leave this place alive, traitor.
Right.
Wait a second. It's the wrong. You requiesce pace.
Something like that. Right. And the reason I asked if they remember is, I mean, you guys are all in a booth saying your lines hundreds of times. I mean, it's got to be difficult to remember. It's got to be. Anyway, thank you.
Hi, my name's Simone, and it's kind of a question for everyone on the panel. For all of you guys that have, even played like a minute scene, which I know all of you guys have played in more than one game probably, do you guys think you guys kind of created like a pseudo family between the cast and between, the gamers who played the game and, all those people?
I definitely think that gamers are a special breed. And I don't mean that in a bad way. I mean, it's very cool. Look, we really step back and look at when I go and talk to somebody who doesn't know about games, and I say, yeah, so I did this game, and now I'm going, I'm going to go fly out to Sacramento to go do a convention. What? Is that many people who are that crazy about a game that they're going to come? Yeah. And I played a really tiny character in comparison to everybody else on this. And it's crazy. I'll go do a convention, and someone will come up. A lot of people come up to me asking me about Adam Jensen and things like that. But then an extreme amount of people will come and talk about Federico. And I'm like, I'm barely in this thing, man. But it's not because of me, it's because they love these games. So I have a relationship with fans of the game. Definitely.
You were really charming as Federico. I think like it was a very memorable character.
Yeah.
I mean it.
Yeah, I think we have lots of video gamers who like the big characters. Then you have those who look in the background and you see these support characters and you see how important they are to the story, and they really appreciate everything.
I think video gamers are a very special breed too, and I mean that in a bad way.
Well, Cas, you are a video gamer yourself.
And I am a video gamer, so I'm allowed to say that. No, I'm just kidding. What I will say, because I'm sure Roger's done and other people have done other games other than the Assassin's Creeds, having done Halo and Call of Duty and a few of the games that haven't come out yet. I have to be honest, Assassin's Creed fans and game players are completely different than gamers who are focused on Call of Duty or Halo or anything. The Assassin's Creed fans, I really love them because anyone who loves Assassin's Creed loves story, loves layers, loves textures, loves intelligent, intricate puzzles, and like they're really, really smart and they're creative. And a lot of them are a little bit crazy because they love the history, they love the philosophy, they love the creed and the mantras and all the huge amount of research and backstory that Ubisoft has put into it. You guys eat it up and spit it back out like tenfold. It's amazing, and there's only so far you can go with Call of Duty and Halo. in terms of backstory and history and all of that. So Assassin's Creed truly are an amazing family, the fan base there. And I love every one of them except for the person that tried to stab me in the back with a blade.
The pickpocketing.
That's what they. Yes, right. Yes, I think. Yeah. Yes.
Well, for me, it was that I had to keep my character completely and absolutely secret, and everyone thought that the game was going to start with Connor. And for me, the feeling of that connection was that I think the day after the game came out, there was something like 30, within a couple of hours, there's like 30 Haytham Kenways on Facebook. and it was a name that it was like in my head only, you know, nobody had heard of it. So, and I suddenly, and people were commenting on the emotionality of the scenes, and I thought, wow, for me, it was a real experience of, wow, people saw what I tried to do. So I have a sense of connection, if that's what you mean, you know. And
yeah,
I confess, I really like that.
Great, thank you.
Wait, Loomer, are you out there? Right here. So Ubisoft does a great job. Loomer, what's the full username?
979.
Loomer979 has done a ton of YouTube videos that you guys have probably seen on the internet, which is where YouTube videos are. And Ubisoft has been hugely helpful in creating that and helping him create a lot of these videos. And Ubisoft as a company has done such a great job, I mean, to answer it seriously, which is rare for me, that they've done such a great job of understanding that you guys are so passionate about this franchise and making sure that it's celebrated, you know, on your ranks. And guys like Loomer that do these videos and Ubisoft helping them make these things is absolutely a family. And it's awesome that we all get to come here on a weekend like this and celebrate this thing that we're so passionate about with you guys, because Ubisoft makes those things happen. They don't say like, no, you can't go out there unless you get our approval. It's like they really get it as a company and have facilitated this type of an event. So it's great that, you know, that they are supportive of it as well, which is, yeah, we definitely feel that connection. And guys like that help as well.
I like the dedication of the fans and how loyal they are. And when the character came out, people were really responsive in ways that I just didn't see coming. You know, I didn't see it happening like that. And I think the family was there already, and I just felt welcomed into it. And it was I mean, what can I say? It's wonderful. Very wonderful.
How many questions? We have 2 questions left? Okay, can we make them really quick?
Say them at the same time.
So first of all, I just wanted to say thank you to you guys and to Ubisoft. If it wasn't for you, I would not have actually found out that I have a deep love of history, and I wouldn't have found out what I wanted to become as an adult. So thank you guys. And anyway, so my question was, I was wondering if I could get some family banter between Haytham and Connor and Ezio and Federico and Ezio.
Which one of you was using my toothbrush?
How many times do I have to tell you to clean your room?
Well, you burned it down, Father.
Tell him.
What, me? No, I've turned apparently I forgot how to do, I've turned Federico into Mario. Hey, Ezio! Why you don't step on the Goomba?
Great.
I forgot how to play. I'm glad he's not coming back. I forgot what that did.
Hey, you guys, keep it down there. I'm trying to sleep.
Thank you guys.
Hello, my name is
exactly. This is just for the R2 ladies of Creed. With regards to Unity and the whole media scandal about how you can't co-op as a female character, how do you feel about that?
Well, I think, well, first of all, the character of Elias is going to be really cool, and that much I know. So I understand why the people are really frustrated that she won't be playable in all capacities. I totally get that. It's something that it's hard to speak to because it's kind of like, it's like I don't feel that I have enough information to give a good answer because I know that there's so many things that go on behind the scenes in terms of how it's made. And like I know, for example, for my character, for Aveline, they didn't redo all of the stunt aspects of the assassin. They recycled it from the previous game. So it was essentially a man who had done it. And you know, maybe perhaps, like I'm just speaking hypothetically here, but perhaps if they had done it with Elias, because every game is getting better and better, right? Like the quality is getting better, and they would have had to have, I'm guessing, they would have had to redo everything with a female, to fit the female avatar. Like I said, I'm not an expert on this. You need someone from Ubisoft to explain it.
Some things like when you have to put together a multiplayer section, it's like something that the fans want, you have to put it together. Just don't always have time to put, like you're saying, to bring another actor in, to bring another mocap person in. It just, sometimes it doesn't happen. It doesn't mean that it's not being planned or something might not come in the future, but some things just have to wait. And
Yeah, and you know what, like, it's so good that this happened, and you know what I mean? So now they know, it's loud and clear. Next game, I would really hope that is going to be, something that they look at and that they reevaluate that, because women want to be able to play women assassins too, and maybe men want to be playing women. It's just like, or not even necessarily assassins, but just in that range have different sexes.
yeah, we want options.
Yeah, give them options. Come on.
Thank you. Did you guys have fun?
You're exceptionally loud. Your laugh is the loudest.
Good. My name is Dan Herrera. This has been an awesome opportunity. Thank you guys. Follow me on Twitter at DanoTage, D-A-N-O-T-A-G-E. I get that in myself. And this has been your Assassin's Creed panel. Thank you.